Lots of people joining us. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. How is everybody today? Hope everybody is safe and well this Wellbeing Wednesday. I'm just going to adjust my little screen here. I was just saying to our friends on Instagram here that, oh my goodness, this truly is a Wellbeing Wednesday. I am so excited about what I'm going to share with you because it's really, for some people, it will be life-changing information on nutritional genetics. Really fascinating, and I've got a great guest, Emma Bezic, who's going to be joining me. Hi Jane, hi Gail, hi Leslie. Let me just move this around a little bit. I'm slightly precariously balanced on a stand, but hopefully that will be okay. Anybody else homeschooling? Have you got that delight at the moment going on? Oh my goodness, how's it going? Stay good. So it is Wellbeing Wednesday. Wednesdays, otherwise known as hump days of the week, because it's when we reach the peak of the hump, if you like, and then it's downhill all the way. So it is, if you're watching in real time, it is lunchtime. So yes, we've passed the peak. We're heading down the other side. And yeah, what a week. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the weather's like with you guys, but it is howling outside. I'm down in the West Country in the UK. It is blowing a gale. I did actually get out for a morning walk. I thought about it. I kind of thought twice. I thought, really? But, you know, that dog was looking at me with the big eyes. And so, yeah, so we did. We went out. And I do feel better for it, definitely. Bit of pink in my cheeks. So the other thing that's going to put pink in our cheeks, of course, is good quality nutrition. Now, many of you will know that I've written about nutrition and nutritional well-being for literally decades. I started my very first book, actually over 30 years ago, was all about oils, essential fats. I wrote the first consumer guide to antioxidants, the ACE plan. I spent time at Harvard Medical School with the BBC interviewing various researchers there, went on, wrote lots more books obviously, and over the years I kind of moved away from nutritional supplements because I'm a great believer that we get everything from our diet first and foremost, especially if we follow principles like regenerative farming and organic agriculture, so we're getting lots of goodness naturally in plants and dairy produce and all of that. However, since starting Liz Earle Wellbeing, which is now, gosh, in its 5th year, doing all my podcasts with various academics and researchers and doctors and medics, and of course writing for the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, writing for the magazine. Those of you who've got your magazine here will know that it's full of some of the cutting edge research on what's going on in nutritional well-being. So I've spoken to many, many different people, from neuroscientists looking at essential fats, for example, for brain and brain health, to people researching estrogen for anxiety and B vitamins and magnesium for sleep and all these things. So I have come around to the idea that we do need certain supplements that are missing in our diets. And as many of you know, I've shared lots of Liz Loves offer codes with various companies who I personally found helpful. If I don't love them, they don't get the Liz Loves badge of approval, if you like. And these have been really helpful, especially, of course, during these really difficult times with the pandemic. We need to focus even more on keeping our immune system strong, how we can better support our immune system. We know that there's been lots of research going on, well documented on things like vitamin D, for example, higher levels found in those who are less susceptible to the worst effects of COVID. So really important that we support our immune system through nutrients that perhaps we don't get in our diets, and also the microbiome, gut health, and all of that. Now, alongside all of this, I'm kind of giving you a bit of backstory here just to frame what I'm going to be talking about. Alongside that, many of you will know my eldest daughter Lily has a very serious autoimmune disorder, mast cell activation syndrome, MAX, and there's lots of research going on with that at the moment as well. And as part of her journey, she was put in touch with a doctor called Dr. Tina Piers, who diagnosed this and is treating her for histamine intolerance and various other genetic factors. And as part of that, she said to us probably last summer, Lily, you should really get your genetic testing done, because then we can see what's happening with your genes. We can look for markers, things like histamine intolerance, and your availability of the nutrients that you're getting to see what you might need. So she put us in touch with the wonderful Emma Bezic, who started this company. If I can find you one of their flyers here, called Life Code GX. I'll give you all the links to this because you will certainly want to look it up later. I mentioned it on Monday. If you were watching, some of you I know have already been onto their website and have a look. So lifecodegx.com is the website. So check that out in a moment. Listen to us first because it'll tell you lots of bits of information that you might want to know. So she suggested that we do this. It's called a nutrient core genetic testing. So Lily did this, and lo and behold, of course, it came up with the fact that she is mast cell. She has this mast cell issue going on. She is completely intolerant to histamine, various other nutritional markers as well, like vitamin D. She doesn't use very well, and we could see that through how her genes are expressed. And we got this report done. It's called the Nutrient Core Report, and it talks through various different things about genes and about our genetics. And I was so fascinated by this that I thought, I'm going to do this for me. You know, I feel completely well. I don't, fortunately, have an autoimmune issue like Lily. But, you know, I'm curious as to what vitamins I should be taking. Do I need to take vitamin D? Do I need to take all these different things? What's going on in my body? You know, we can only find this out if we know precisely what's happening with our genes. So I did this, and it's called the Nutrient Core Report, and this is what we'll be talking about today. And we do have a Liz Loves offer code, okay? Oh, I can see that I've just stopped live. Hopefully I am live again. Am I live? Sorry, you're okay on Facebook, but Instagram has glitched. So obviously in the excitement, let me see if I can get back live on Instagram, because it's just too exciting to talk about, not to patch them in. Oh, stop it. Come on. Let us do live. Here we go, live, checking the connection. Hopefully we are back there. Otherwise everyone's going to hop onto Facebook. I know it. Let's see. Oh, come on. We're having trouble starting your live video. No, don't say that. Come on. You can do this. I know you can. I keep the faith. Come on, come on. Okay, let's stop that and start again. I can see more of you are coming onto Facebook now. That's the great thing about having two platforms, isn't it? Is that we can do that. But I will need to get my Instagram fixed, because I will need this to talk to Emma. So, come on. Let's go to live. Checking connection. And let's see whether we can get Emma. I'm sure those kids are not on the Wi-Fi. So let's see whether it will do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go and sit on top of my router, I think. That might be the answer. I can see more of you have come from Instagram now on Facebook. Right, it says we are now live. Hello, I hope we are back again, because this is just too exciting. And hi. I know lots of you have gone on to Facebook, which is always the good option, obviously, if we do lose it completely. But I hope we don't, because I am going to be joined by Emma, who will tell us all about this. So this is the report that I did, and it's called the Nutrient Core Report. And it tests for all sorts of different things in our genes. It's really fascinating. Okay, so the things it tests for. It tests for how you use vitamins B and vitamin C. It checks for how we're using vitamin D and vitamin A. It's looking at things like glutathione, which is a really interesting nutrient. Caffeine, how sensitive we are to caffeine. It tells us whether we are lactose intolerant, whether we have a gluten sensitivity. It talks about circadian rhythms, so whether we are genetically a night owl or an early bird, up with the lark. And the good thing about all this, and I will talk through it, this is my personal one, so I'm happy to share my results with you, is that these are all things that we can actually change.
So it's, yes, we are dealt various genes. So that's the deck of cards, if you like, that we're dealt with. But we can change them, okay? We can change them through these things called epigenetics. So epigenetics will change how our genes are. So that's why it's really important to know about your genes. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Instagram, we are having a bit of an issue, aren't we? I think it's because the weather is so bad and because I'm here down in the depths of the rural West Country. But I know that hopefully, nothing on Insta, I'm sorry, Valerie, hopefully we are back live on Instagram. I'm not sure it's going to hold out though for when I do my split screen, but let's see. I was, hopefully you heard me talk about all these different things in this nutrient core report that you get. It's really simple to do. You get the little kit sent to you. You do a little cheek swab, like that, with a little kind of bristly brush that they send you. You send it back to them, and then a few weeks later they give you your report, and it tells you what's going on with your own genes. And it is fascinating because once you know that information, you know how much vitamin D to take or not to take, for example. It could save you a fortune. You know, it tells you actually what you need and what you don't need, rather than just a bit of guesswork. Facebook is freezing as well. I am sorry about that. Hopefully we will get there. I'm going to persevere, okay? Hi, Sulcombe Dairy. Very nice to see you here. So I'm going to try and see. If it doesn't work with the split screen, I'm just going to carry on chatting. And I may have to do it just on Facebook if Instagram's going to mess about, but hopefully not. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about this, the Nutrient Core Report. Let me see, should we risk seeing whether we can get Emma to join us to tell us all about it? Let me see here. I think go live with, let me see whether she is. I can't see you here, Life Codex. So do you want to try? You've probably been trying to join me and not being able to. Have I frozen again? Oh dear. Maybe I'm just going to have to record it on Zoom or something and pop it up on YouTube, because it is just too exciting and too important. Are you seeing me all right? It's not too bad. Persevere, Liz, says Nina. Okay, so interesting, says Alison. Yes, absolutely, it is really. Can't see me at all now, says Amanda. Oh dear. It looks as though the Facebook is working better. Okay, so if you are on Facebook, head to Liz Earle Wellbeing. Life Codex, you say you're trying. We will get there. We really will. Let me try. I do worry that if we connect live that we will crash the system, but let's give it a go. We're going to have to choose to do it on a sunny day, aren't we, clearly? Yeah, I can't see you, honey, on here. Let me go to Life Codex. She says, yes, let's do a recording. Yeah, we could, absolutely. Okay, so I don't think Life Codex, this is going to work with us because we simply don't have the bandwidth. So, Emma, I know you're watching me. It's so frustrating. You're so close, but so far. Let's do a Zoom together. I'll record it, okay, just as we were going to do today. I'll record it perhaps straight after this if you're free, Emma. I don't know if you are. And then we can pop that quickly up onto YouTube, okay? But for the moment, I'm going to carry on doing this on both Instagram and Facebook, and hopefully it will work and it will at least give you a flavour, okay? Yes, I do have the perseverance gene. Oh dear. So it has just cut me off Instagram. Can you believe it? So it has just cut me off that. So, but I am going to try again. I'm determined. I am nothing if not determined. Determination is my middle name. Right. Yes, I know the video has ended. Right. Okay. Download video. I may as well save that just in case. I'm going to carry on. Keep calm and carry on, says Trisha. I shall indeed do that very thing. So, a couple of quick questions I can see coming in already. You're getting ahead of yourselves, okay? But yes, to get this report is normally, it's about £400, okay? I think it's £399. What we have been able to do is we have been able to get a nice hefty discount on that, okay? That brings it down, I think, to £339. Plus, you get also a half-hour individual personalised consultation after you get the report. So to talk through one-to-one over Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever, so that you can get the results. It really is amazing. Right. Okay, so I'm going to try and get our friends on Instagram back for one last go. Let us see. If not, I will just carry on Facebook. So hopefully that will work. And I can then just bring them up to speed with it all. It says it's checking the connection. Are you there? Okay, so Instagram, you're back with me temporarily. We have abandoned ship with Emma Bezic. I'm going to record something separately with her, which I'll pop onto YouTube. I am talking about it all on Facebook. I can see lots more of you now watching on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook or you have the ability, you might find it safer to watch me there. But anyway, I'm going to keep going and just hope that this will work. So the Nutrient Core Report, this is what we've got the deal on. So it's normally, as I was saying to Facebook, it's about £400. And we have managed to get it down to, I think, $339 with the Liz Loves discount code. So that's a hefty chunk of saving. Plus, that actually includes not only your test kit and your written report, but it also includes half an hour of a practitioner's time, a qualified nutritional therapist going through the report with you. So you can really understand it, because it is a little bit complicated, okay? So this is what you get, and I'll share you my results, because this is what I find so fascinating. So this is what it's basically telling you. So it's telling you whether you are gluten or lactose sensitive, your response to caffeine. It talks about your microbiome diversity. It talks about the vitamins that you might need. So vitamins A, B9, which is your folate, B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin K, and glutathione, which is a fascinating subject. And then it also goes through your metabolism, how you metabolize sugar and fat, your appetite, your genetically predetermined appetite levels, inflammation, blood pressure, and circadian rhythms. And this is all in this one report. It's completely fascinating. Just to say, I was nervous about doing a DNA test and report. They don't store your data. They don't share it. It's totally anonymous, so nobody can trace it. It doesn't go to any insurance company. It doesn't go to your doctor. Obviously, you've got it, so if you want to share it with somebody, you can. But it's completely anonymous and it's completely safe. They don't use your little DNA cells for anything else. So, because I'm very hot on things like personal security and safety. So I'm just going to share you my report, frankly. We're all friends here, aren't we? I've got nothing to hide. So the first thing that they test you for is lactose intolerance. And they use a traffic light system. So it's green, amber, red. If you're green, you're good to go. It's fine. You've got no issues. If it's amber, there's some irregularity with your genes. And if it's red, it's a block. Okay, but the good news is you can always do something about it. It doesn't just say, well, bad luck, you're red, nothing you can do. Because this is where epigenetics come in. And epigenetics is the science of using your own genetical information, if that's such a thing, your genetic information, and then using things like vitamin supplements to help support. So you feel better. I have to say, since doing this, I am just raring to go, because I'm taking specifically the things that I need. I've ditched the things I don't need, so I'm saving money on the stuff that I was taking that I don't actually need, and I'll share that with you. But I'm now really focusing on the stuff that I do need, and I made an amazing discovery. I'm taking something that I've never taken before that is really transforming me. So this is why I'm so excited to share it. Oh no, Instagram has frozen again. Okay, I am going to record the whole thing again, so don't worry, but hopefully you're seeing me all right on Facebook. I can see lots of chat about histamine, estrogen. This is just a genetic test about your vitamins, okay? So it doesn't matter what medication you're taking. You can be on HRT or not on HRT. You can be on medication or not on medication. This is about vitamins, okay, and your own genetics. So it works alongside. No, you don't need to stop taking your vitamins before the test, because it's your genes. And you could do this aged 6 months old. You could do it when you're 106. Your genes are your genes. They're what you're born with, Okay, nothing changes. It doesn't matter at what age you do this. It's never too late. It's never too early, because your genes are just your genes. They're not going to change. You can influence them to change how you feel, but, you know, we are just dealt the deck of cards that we're dealt with. What we do with that deck of cards, how we play our hand, if you like, is up to us. So the good news for me is I am not lactose intolerant here. Absolutely not. It's green. I don't have those genes. I'm absolutely fine. Interestingly, my husband, ex-husband, he also did this, because I gave every member of my family this test for Christmas because I was so fascinated by it. He is lactose intolerant, but my children aren't. And that's because the gene for lactose tolerance is dominant. So if you've got two parents, if you've got one who's lactose intolerant and one who isn't, then the one who isn't gives the dominant gene. That's how I understand it anyway from Emma. So I am not lactose intolerant, and nor are my children. Okay, here we come now to celiac disease and gluten. This is quite interesting. I'm a little bit sensitive to gluten, you can see here. And I do have to watch it. I do know that, I do avoid eating lots of wheat and gluten. It makes me very puffy, especially around the eyes. And you get that kind of gluten puffy face, or at least I do. And now I know why. It's because I'm a little bit sensitive to it. I'm not completely allergic. It's not going to do me much harm, but my body is struggling a little bit with gluten. So that is on the celiac side. Then we come on to microbiome. Haha, yes, of course. Green for good. I have an excellent microbiome, I'm very pleased to say. However, this little bit of the microbiome is not so good. And when we looked at this, it's actually related to the bifidobacterium. And when you look at where we find the bifidobacterium, that comes from really things like sauerkraut and kimchi, the things that, if I'm really honest with you, I'm not so good with. I love my kefir. I love all my lactobacillus. I'm thriving with that. Got loads of that going on. But I do need a little bit more. So since I've had this report done, I do now have a bit more. I deliberately seek out the supplements that have the bifidobacteria. I make a little bit more sauerkraut. I add a bit of kimchi into my salads, that kind of thing. So the next question is caffeine. I do love my cup of coffee. You know that. I love a cup of coffee. I've got to be careful with caffeine. Okay, I'm amber here. I've got to be careful. Now, there are two genes that talk about caffeine. One is your body's response to caffeine. I get quite a powerful hit from caffeine, which is why I like it first thing in the morning, because I am quite sensitive to it, so it's giving me a hit. But I am also metabolizing it reasonably well. This is not a red. You know, I am getting a reasonable bit of metabolism. So the key for me is, yes, I can enjoy my coffee, but I shouldn't have it too late, or dark chocolate too late in the day. Okay, so caffeine, I have my last cup of coffee at lunchtime, and then that's it for the day, and I do sleep a lot better for it. So the next one is vitamin A, and this is quite interesting for me. So vitamin A, a vegan diet would not suit me, and I'm not vegan anyway, but it wouldn't suit me because I have difficulty converting beta carotene, which is the vegetable form of vitamin A, into retinol. Retinol is the version of vitamin A that comes from meat and dairy, and we need it for our eyes, we need it for everything from, you know, strong hair, strong skin, immune system, all sorts of things. I have a problem. Both those genes here are problematic for me, so I need my retinol. It's not enough for me just to eat cabbage and think, oh, that's fine, beta carotene, I'll convert it to vitamin A, because genetically I can't convert it very well. And some people come up red and they can't convert it, so they really need to be careful. So if you are following any kind of exclusion diet and excluding major food groups, you should really be doing this report, because you need to know what's going on inside your body. This was also interesting for me, B vitamins. I'm not processing my B vitamins very well either. So I'm using things like the Better You vitamin B12 spray. We get the Liz Loves 15%, so I've stocked up on that. So I need to make sure that I'm eating plenty of greens and getting my B vitamins from food, but also taking supplements is especially helpful for me of the B vitamins. There's things like B12, folic acid, you know, I'm not converting that as well as I could. So vitamin C, they test for vitamin C, green, no problem, okay? So, you know, yes, I can have extra vitamin C if I want to, but I'm processing it really well. So that's something that I've kind of downplayed a little bit in my supplement routine. I know that I don't need to have as much of it. Although, if you listen to my podcast with Dr. Levy from America, he thinks that we should all be taking way, way more. So I'm still taking my vitamin C. Now, this was interesting for me. This is vitamin D. I need lots of vitamin D. Do you see? It's being transported really well around the body. This is the green bit here, the transportation. But I'm not using it very well. So I need to have extra vitamin D. So when I have these vitamin D sprays, for example, so these are the Better You ones, and you can get the normal one, which is 1,000, and then you can get the other one, which is 3,000. I now use the 3,000 one because I know that I need a bit more. And I've done a podcast actually with Emma, and it was really interesting. We talked about the different genetic results between Lily and Brella and me, and we all have different needs for vitamin D. Really interesting. Brella in particular, and she doesn't mind me sharing this because we talked about it on the podcast, she was red all the way through. So she needs lots of vitamin D. And since taking a lot more vitamin D, she's really felt so much better. She sleeps better, she has much less anxiety, and it's just been transformational. And, you know, how would I have known that? How would we have known that if we didn't have this screening? It's called Life Code GX. So I'm being asked some questions now on Facebook. So do take a look. There is a link on Facebook. I know Amy is monitoring Facebook at the moment. It's all going a bit crazy because there's just so much interest. Use your Liz Loves code. There's a special link to the Life Code GX because they've done a special package for us. Okay, so it's basically you can sign up, you get your test, you get your report, and then you also get the 30 minutes with a practitioner talking you through it, because as you can see here, there's a lot to talk through. So to really get the benefit of it, you need to have that one-to-one personal advice. So not only are we getting a cheaper test, we're also getting the deal thrown in. So I'm so excited about sharing this because I just think that it's something that, you know, all of us should be able to have access to. I saw a comment there on Facebook saying, you know, why is the NHS not doing this? Of course, I think in the future they will, you know, when we've got over this pandemic and we're starting to look at personalised nutrition and personalised medicine, because depending on our genes depends on how medicines work for us. You know, they will work differently for different people depending on our genes, and you only know that if you can actually identify what genes you've got going on. So vitamin D has been a really interesting one. We've heard a lot about it from the immune system and for COVID, but it's also really important because it helps with anxiety and mood. So vitamin D, we know, is involved in the production of dopamine and GABA, which are your happy brain chemicals. So if you are facing, you know, severe anxiety, and there's even been links with things like eating disorders and obsessive compulsive disorders and all these different things linked to low levels of vitamin D, and something as simple as increasing your vitamin D levels if you've been shown to have a block can dramatically help. I mean, it's just amazing. And this is something that will last forever. I was talking to Emma about a lady that she'd seen, I think she was in her 60s or 70s. She'd suffered with depression all her life. She had really fragile bones, a lot of bone fractures, because as we know, vitamin D is needed for strong bones. She had had, you know, various suicide attempts, and she had had trouble sleeping, and there'd been lots of difficulties in her life. When she did this nutrient analysis, it came up red, blocked all the way. So she started to have high strength vitamin D. She was taking like 10,000 units of vitamin D because that's what was indicated for her. And she just felt like a completely different person. And isn't that tragic that she'd lived all those years not knowing? If she'd known that earlier, how her life could change. So for me as a mum, having found out that Brella at the age of 20 is blocking red all the way through on her vitamin D, the fact that she can now take
very high strength vitamin D. She's taking 9,000 international units every day and feeling so much better. And I do have her permission to talk about it, and she is podcasting with me about it. It's just that I was so excited about this news. To be honest, I just couldn't wait to share it. The podcast isn't going live for several weeks, but I just wanted to share it, especially at the moment, you know, when we're possibly all thinking, well, maybe I need to buy some more vitamins, maybe I need to do this. Well, maybe you do, or maybe you don't. But how can you tell unless you have this information? Okay, so that's really why I'm fast tracking it now, and I'm sorry if I'm kind of gabbling on it. I hope you will be able to catch it. Trolley Dolly, I'm so sorry. I think it's the weather, the storm clouds. It is up on Facebook, so if you have an opportunity at the end of this to go over to Facebook, it will stay live on Facebook, and we will also put this recording up on YouTube, so you will be able to see it straight away. Even if you're not on Facebook, everybody can get onto YouTube, okay, so you can take a look at it. So vitamin K has shown green, that's fine. Now this was the really interesting one for my family and me, and this is a nutrient which I'm going to talk about more in the coming weeks because I didn't know very much about it. Okay, it's called glutathione, and guess what? All my family are genetically blocking glutathione. None of us can process it properly. So when I got this result, I was quite shocked because I consider myself a really healthy person. I eat really well. But these are my genes. You know, no amount of good eating is going to make my body convert glutathione properly. So I started to take glutathione. I got off the phone from Emma that morning. I was in London. I went to several health food shops, couldn't find it because it's quite a specialist nutrient. Ended up at John Bell and Croydon in Wigmore Street. Got some glutathione, started taking it that day. The next morning I woke up and I thought, I feel really good. Why do I feel so good? I've not done anything different. Normal night's sleep, load of stress going on as normal, but I actually feel really bright. And glutathione is this master antioxidant that's involved in detoxifying the body. It's a lot of metabolic processes that go on, and if you're not using glutathione properly, or your body isn't, it's always going to be slightly struggling. You know, it's always going to be slightly pulling against its own genes. So I now take glutathione. I take it every day. My family are all on glutathione. My teenage lad is on glutathione because it's really helping him, because we did the test and it came up red. We needed it. So I knew it's expensive. It's an expensive supplement, but I need it, and I feel so much better for it. So in terms of an investment, I just don't think you can beat it, to be honest. You know, I'm very pleased that I've saved some money during lockdown. I've not had any holidays, haven't bought any fashion, haven't been out to restaurants. So I am buying my vitamins, but actually I know I'm buying the vitamins that I need, that I really want and need, my body needs. I can't give you individual advice. I can see that there's lots of questions coming in. If you do this report, you get your half hour with the nutritionist who then talks you through specifically. It may turn out that you're green on everything. You may be perfect. You may be perfect human specimens, in which case you can save all that money on your vitamins. Or it may come up with a few interesting insights that you will have for the rest of your life. Your genes don't change. Once you've done this, this is lifelong information, okay? It talks about appetite, and this is I've never had to pronounce this, satiety gene, basically when it tells you when you need to stop eating. So this is really interesting in terms of obesity, because some people don't have the gene that tells them that they're feeling full. And if you know that, you can monitor it. You know, you can eat what you need to eat. And then if you're still eating, you can actually say to yourself, listen, I know that I don't have the gene that tells me to stop now. But I know that I've eaten enough and I know I can stop. I'm just going to whiz through the rest here. Sugar and fat, really interesting for anybody who is insulin sensitive, diabetics. It tells you all about how you are coping with insulin and blood sugars, how you're processing it. Inflammation, what's going on in inflammation in your body. Everything leads back to inflammation and what we can do about it. Blood pressure, again, controlled by genetics. See how fascinating it is. Can you see how I was so excited to share this with you? Circadian rhythm, whether you're a night owl or a lark. Useful to know, actually. Really useful as an employer, you know, for me as an employer, to know which of my team likes starting really early at crack of dawn and getting on with things, and which of my team actually I'm better to talk to later on in the day because they'd rather start later and finish later. So, you know, really interesting. I think in the future we're going to be able to work smarter by knowing what our biological genetic circadian rhythm is. And then it just talks, there's just lots of appendices and tells you how to read the report. So basically, in a nutshell, that is it. I'm sorry we've had so many issues listening to this. Hopefully you can re-watch this on Facebook and on YouTube. I am going to be talking more about it in the future because I just think it is so fascinating. And I've seen that Emma Bezic has been on Facebook answering questions, which is great. She's sending that they can send internationally. That's great. So hop online wherever in the world you're watching. So we've put a link on Instagram. You'll find it on Linktree in my bio. And it takes you through, basically, if you want to find it without using the link, it's just lifecodegx.com/Liz Earle. It's important that you do that because this is the special package. Okay, they've never given such a big discount. We are so grateful. This is the cheapest way to get this, guys. Okay, and they're not paying me to say this. I'm genuinely thrilled that we're going to be able to share this with the community. So you go onto that link and you want the nutrient core report. I think they call it the silver core, if I'm right. Yeah, Optimum Health, Silver DNA and Support Package. That's what it's called here, okay? That's what you click on. It's normally £399. You put your Liz Loves code at the checkout. That then deducts, I don't know, whatever it is, 70 odd pounds, so it comes down to 330 something. That gets you your little test kit that they'll send out to you in about a week. You then do a little, it's very easy. You just, basically, it has a little brush, like a little mascara brush, and you rub it, just here on the inside of your cheek, just to pick up a few little cells. You stick it in the little plastic tube that they send you, and you then send it back in the post with your details. It's all secure, it's all private. And then after about 3 weeks' time, they send you your report. You get it emailed to you. And then you make your appointment to chat to a nutritional practitioner that they work with. So somebody who knows all about this and who talks you through line by line and can explain what this means for you. You know, it's an extraordinary thing. And yes, it's an investment, but you're investing in yourself. This is information that will stay with you for the rest of your life. You know, it's not going to change. And I thought, I was doing it just for research. I thought, well, I'm going to write about it in the magazine because it's really interesting. It's obviously really helped Lily with her severe autoimmune issue, and I can see that that's really helpful. When I did it for me, I was not expecting the results that I got. I was not expecting any red news, basically. But to discover that I was blocking glutathione, and then you Google it, go and take a look at what glutathione is and what it does. It's an amazing nutrient. And since taking it, I am so sparky and I'm so up. And I'm just so thankful. I'm really, Emma, I know that you're watching because you're on Facebook. And I'd just like to say I'm so sorry that we weren't able to talk live today because I just wanted to publicly thank you for bringing this information and this technology and everything that you're doing. Because for me, my life is better. My children's lives are better. My family, I actually gave these tests to my parents for Christmas. They haven't yet used them, but they're going to be doing that and get the reports because, you know, they're in their 80s. But actually, if they find things that they are sensitive to or they need, how amazing that they can make themselves feel better. Like that lady who I feel so bad for, who had such a terrible time in her life and didn't discover until she was in her 60s that she couldn't process vitamin D. And then just with that simple change, her life was transformed. I mean, it's heartbreaking when you hear that, but it's also incredibly empowering that we now have that technology and we can actually do it and use it. So thank you, Emma, for bringing it to us, and thank you to everybody who's responding. It is so fascinating, isn't it? And I know that we'll be hearing more and more about it. You know, when you look at the world of medicine generally, it's all about really working out how individual we are. It's like the diets, you know, why do some diets work for some people and not for others? You know, it's, you know, some people say, oh, well, this diet works for me, high fat, low sugar, fasting works, or, you know, all these different things. And it's because we are genetically different. And there are some things that will work more or less for most people, but there are other really specific things that will work, you know, because they're tuned into your genetics. It's personalization, and it's making the best of what you have. And yeah, I do think it's a really worthwhile investment. You know, I really do. I think that we're going to be hearing more and more about it. And yeah, really one of those things in life that you come across every once in a while. And yes, the link. So I can't put the link on Instagram. Yes, it's on offer to overseas people. It is the way forward in health. Yes, so I'm sorry, Instagram. Instagram's come back to life now, obviously. Yes, head to Facebook if you can. It's all up there now, and you can watch it. I'll keep it up there. I won't get rid of it. We'll save it. We'll also save it and upload it to YouTube as soon as this finishes. Okay, so if you're not on Facebook, don't panic. Everyone can get it on YouTube. You can get it on your phone, on your laptop, whatever, and it will be the latest video from Liz Earle Wellbeing. So we put up videos all the time on Facebook, if you didn't know that. And hopefully, I haven't obviously seen the transmission that's going out there, but yeah, the best Christmas present you could give, totally. It's 23andMe. No, it's very different for 23andMe. I think 23andMe, the DNA testing, that tells you about your ancestry, doesn't it? It tells you, you know, whether you were Neanderthal or came from Asia or Southern Europe or whatever. No, this is purely about your nutrients. This is purely about your health. And it doesn't tell you what diseases you're susceptible to. It's your nutrients. That's all it's looking at, okay? It's just looking at your nutrients. So it tells you how you are absorbing these key things. So basically it tests you for gluten, whether you're gluten intolerant. Really useful to know. A lot of people suspect they are, but are you really? Let's see, genetically. Lactose. Are you lactose intolerant? Really useful to know. Caffeine. How do you process caffeine? Can you cope with coffee? Can't you? It's a genetic thing. And then your microbiome diversity. Do you need more lactobacillus in your gut? Do you need more bifidobacteria, like me? So those are really key things. Then it goes on to your vitamins. How are you processing vitamin A? Are you processing retinol? Like me, I don't process retinol very well. So I need to be eating my meat and my dairy because I just don't get it otherwise. I can't process it. My body is not converting it from beta-carotene to retinol. Vitamins B9 and B12, again, I'm not a very good converter of those. So I know I need to supplement with those. Vitamin C, I don't need so much of. I'm really good with vitamin C. Vitamin D, I do need a bit more of. Vitamin K, I'm okay with. Glutathione, I block. I don't convert it. So if I want glutathione, I have to take it. That, for me, was the single most important and revelatory factor for me personally. That's the thing that changed my life. Yes, everything else is really useful to know, but the glutathione for me was like a missing bit of the jigsaw. I didn't even know it was missing. I felt really good. I didn't realise how much better I could feel knowing about it. And then your metabolism. So it talks about how you metabolize sugars, your insulin response, your fat response, your appetite genes, your inflammation genes, inflammatory markers, really important for chronic diseases, your blood pressure and your circadian rhythms. So just fascinating. I will do more on it, but this is all I'm going to do on it today. I just wanted to get it out there. This is a really good time if you've been thinking about looking at your own nutritional needs, thinking about what might be going on in your life, using this time in lockdown to reevaluate how we eat, how we process things, how we do our exercise, what vitamins we need, that kind of thing. This is really fundamental. And yes, they do ship overseas, I've just seen. Yes, you can incorporate more than one test. So the deal that we have is with this Nutrient Core report, but they do lots of other tests. So you can test for estrogen sensitivity, you can test for thyroid, lots of other things. Obviously, it all starts to get really expensive if you mount up, but absolutely. I mean, some people just want to go and have the whole works. But for me, starting with this one, that's the fundamental building block of good health, I think. So I better move on to something else, hadn't I? Taken up the entire time talking about that. Just to say though, before I go, couple of questions here and comments. Vitamins, yes, so yeah, Liz loves the vitamin codes do still apply, so Better You vitamin sprays. So some in my family are taking the 3,000 because we know they need it. Others in my family take the 1,000 because they need that. They don't need the extra, but we know, so that's really helpful. Magnesium, this is actually my favourite magnesium. It's the Newson Health one. We have 10% off Newson Health. So that's from Emma's Nutrition. This was formulated in conjunction with Dr. Louise Newson. Magnesium, we know, is really important for menopausal women, for midlife women. And this one I particularly like because it has all 3 forms of magnesium. Magnesium comes in lots of shapes and sizes. You can read all about it on Liz Earle Wellbeing. But this one has malate, citrate and ascorbate. It also has some B vitamins in there. I think it's great. So quite big tablets, but I take one in the morning and one in the evening. I take it 2 hours before bed, and it really helps with sleep. The other supplement that I really like from Newson Health are their fish oils. So I take these one a day. It's my DHA and EPA. So I don't eat a huge amount of oily fish. So that's absolutely good for inflammation, gut health, brain health, all of those. So there's, I think, 10% off at Emma's Nutrition. We'll pop links up on Facebook if you want the fish oils and the magnesium, and then 15% off all the Better You things, which I do think are excellent. Moving on to other things, what lip gloss am I wearing? I love the way that we can jump about here like a grasshopper. So I'm using my Dr. Lip, mentioned that before. At the moment, we've got 20% off Dr. Lip for our community here with Liz Loves. This is the one that I'm using. It's red radish, really pretty. It's a purified lanolin, so really good if your lips are dry and chapped at the moment. I don't know about you, but I'm not really wearing very much lipstick, especially with masks and things. You don't want to be wearing lots of lipstick under a mask, but I just want a little hint of something, which is actually conditioning my lips, especially in this cold weather. So this 20% deal, I think, runs until the end of January. So I love all their things. So yeah, take a look, Dr. Lip. Use Liz Loves, all in capitals, to get that discount. Question here from Nat on Instagram. Nat Franklin says, would you recommend a humidifier in the bedroom? I'm waking up with dry skin and dry sinuses. Yeah, I would. I think humidifiers are a really good idea. You don't need to buy an expensive one. Actually, just sleep with a big bowl of water beside your bed. You know, that's going to help humidify the air around your face. So that would be, you know, that would be a good thing. Also drink a little bit more water. I know I tend to not drink water at the end of the day because I don't want to be up in the night, but I keep water beside my bed, and as soon as I wake up I have a really large glass of water. It's the first thing I do, just to rehydrate my body, because we are losing a lot of moisture while we sleep, so I find that really helpful. But yes, I think, you know, turn your central heating down a little bit. We shouldn't sleep in a bedroom that's too warm. We actually sleep better if our bedroom's slightly cooler, you know, around 15 to 18 degrees on the dial is good. So I used to sleep at about 20, 22. I've now notched my dial down. So, you know, it's good. It's good saving on the old central heating bills, but it's also better for our skin, better for our sleep to be slightly cooler. Couple of questions here about lasers and masks. You may have seen me with Lily on Monday and her lovely cell return mask. This is mine, and quite an amazing piece of kit, I have to say. Quite scary to look at, but boy does it work, gets your skin glowing. She has, I think since that, they've sold out of the white ones, but they're getting more in. If you wanted a white one, again, really expensive bit of kit, but this is a serious investment. I think they're getting some more in. They're having them fast-tracked, FedExed over from South Korea where they're made. So they are getting the white ones in, and they will still honour the Liz Loves code if you use it now. So you've got the double discount at the moment. But she does have the black ones. Hers is black. I have to say it's very chic in black. And they do the same thing, obviously. So just to let you know about that. Can cell return help with alopecia? That's interesting. There are lots of studies ongoing. So the one for hair loss is the helmet one that she was wearing. And they have had some good results on that. So best to ask her directly. If you go to Cell Return,
cellreturn.co.uk. That's cell as in CELL, cellreturn.co.uk. They've got lots of clinical studies. I mean, there's a lot of evidence on this. It's not just a kind of woo-woo gadget that's not going to work. It really genuinely does work. So definitely, please contact them directly. I know they'll be really happy to help. They've got a very, very good medical team, an R&D team, both in the UK and over in South Korea. This is from Instagram. Wonderful things are happening is your handle. How nice. I'm glad wonderful things are happening. You say, can laser facials be used for those with sensitive skin? Yes, absolutely. I used to go for laser facials. My skin's really sensitive. I mean, obviously I haven't been able to get out to a salon to go to, but I don't actually need to go now because I have my own mask. And yes, I use this every night. I use it for 20 minutes before bed on the red light setting, and it helps me sleep as well. So yes, absolutely no issue with sensitive skin. In fact, the pink mode is designed for rosacea, psoriasis, eczema. So it's actually designed for people with super sensitive skin. And last question here from YouTube, saying, is the LED light mask FDA approved or cleared in the UK? Yes, absolutely it is. And in fact, it's just about to get its medical license. It's got a medical license over in other parts of the world, but because of the EU and Brexit, there was a delay in issuing the medical license for the UK. But yeah, absolutely. And it's widely sold in America as well. They have an American distributor. Lilly is just the distributor for the UK. But yeah, absolutely. Very safe and properly approved and medically licensed and cleared and everything. So there we go. Question here from Victoria on Facebook. Is the Prosody Neroli perfume very fresh or deeply musky? The Neroli one, that's the one that I'm using, isn't it? The Neroli. I love it. It is quite heady. I think you can get little sample sizes before you invest in the full thing. So try the little one, try the little travel size. I have to say I love it. It is really my favourite. And we've got Liz Love's discount on it. So it's a really great smell. So yeah, I think you've probably seen it in the magazine, haven't you? By the way, there are, just before I go, we do still have just a few of these subscriber offers left if you have yet to subscribe. So normally there's always a good deal on subscribing because we're not in any shops anymore. You have to subscribe to get it. So you always will get 6 issues for the price of 5. So you always get a free issue. And in the UK, you get free P&P. And we can ship it overseas. That's no problem. You just pay the extra P&P. But at the moment, we have got a special deal where you also get this one. So if you're new, this was last year's Jan-Feb issue, absolutely jam-packed with things to start the year off right. It's a really, really good issue, and I just wanted to share it for those who hadn't already got it. So if you are quick, there are a handful remaining, literally a handful. But you will still get your deal. You'll still get the extra one free, 6 issues for the price of 5. So you get a saving and your free P&P, but you physically get the extra one. That goes through Warner's. So any questions or comments for subscriptions, please go to Warner's. You'll find the link on lizearlewellbeing.com. They are really good at sorting things out. The offer is for direct debit because that's just the cheapest, easiest way to do it. And it just means that you always get automatically every 8 weeks you get your new issue. So this is the current one. Love it. I am busy for the rest of today because I am actually going to be finishing my editorial copy, and I'm writing about Life Code GX for the magazine. I'm going to be writing an in-depth feature about it for the March issue, which I need to crack on with because we're going to be going to press reasonably soon with that. So yeah, I hope that you love it. I hope everybody who's subscribed, please let me know. I'd love to know what you think about the magazine. Please leave comments, questions, queries, ideas for articles that you'd like to see, either for me doing here on Facebook and Instagram, or articles that you'd like to see in the magazine, or things that you'd like to see on the website. So much stuff going on. I feel really pleased and privileged to be working in the field of well-being because it's good news. You know, on the whole, it's good news. There are positive steps that we can take, small things that can make a big difference, even if it's just taking a little bit more vitamin D, for example, for our mood. And of course, you know, if you can do the genetic testing, brilliant. But if you can't, listen to your body. You know, if you start to up your levels of vitamin D, how do you feel?
You know, do you feel that your mood is lifted? Do you feel that you sleep better if you take a bit of magnesium before bedtime? Do you feel that you're sleeping better? You know, listen to your body. Use this time, particularly now when there are fewer distractions out in the world, more of us spending obviously more time at home. This is a chance to perhaps use this time productively to think, how's my body responding to this? You know, how do I feel if I eat that or if I do this? So that's what my team and I here at Liz Earle Wellbeing are really going to try and do, focus on simple things. And I'm going to start a whole series next week, actually, of just 5-minute fixes that we can all do that will make us feel better and look better. So I'm hoping that, you know, everybody will benefit from that, and they'll all be free and, you know, just be nice things that we can all share and do together. Talking of things we can do together, Julie, who is the founder of Instep, she has been able to find a UK manufacturer to make more of her Instep lovely resistance bands, which are so brilliant. So if you want to hop onto her website and order, she's got, I think, another 200 coming into stock in a few weeks' time. So put your name down, pre-order them now, and you'll be first in line to get it. Because for those of you who've already got your Instep, we're going to be doing another class on Saturday. Yes, I loved it last Saturday. That was a little introduction. So we're going to be doing it 10 o'clock. Julie will send a link to everybody who's bought the Instep. And I think the idea is that if you want to pre-order and get your name down so that you've got one, you've bought one that she's going to send out to you. I think she'll also send you the link to the class so that you can just see what's going on and join in. Even if you haven't got your actual gadget yet, you can still do the moves and be part of the community, which would be really nice. So I shall look forward to that. So if you haven't put it in your diary yet and you've got your Instep, 10 o'clock Saturday, I should be live here at home, leaping about in my leotard like I was last week. Oh dear, the things we do. Anyway, sending you lots of love. Happy hump day. Don't forget, it's downhill all the way now to the weekend. And I look forward to being back with you live on Friday. Let's hope for better connectivity on Friday. But if you want to see this whole section on Life Code GX, please head over to either Facebook or YouTube shortly. We'll upload it to YouTube in just as quickly as we can, the transmission time it takes to upload it. So hopefully it will be up there very soon. But thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Victoria. Lovely for your comments. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Roro. Thanks, Winterberry. Thank you, Pen. Lovely to see you all. See you very soon. Bye.